Hello, G's, and welcome back to G Free with Friends and Family. Now, I don't know if you remember when I made the mochi ice cream, and it was kind of disastrous because I didn't let the mochi cool off enough. I didn't scoop the ice cream into balls and let it harden like that, so it took a long time to wrap, and it was just a melty mess, but it tasted good. Anyway, today we're going to be back with more mochi, but this time it's going to be mochi donuts, which are one of my favorite things because they remind me so much of a fried yeast donut. Same thing, only different, just a little different. I'm so tempted to double the recipe, but when I do things like that, sometimes it doesn't work out for me. Like this one time when my kids were little and I wanted to make homemade pudding from scratch, and I doubled the recipe, and it almost, and I was using a big pot too, but at one point when you're making pudding, it kind of swells up. It almost came out of the pot. It was almost a big disaster. I almost had pudding all over the kitchen. So funny. My kids were screaming, "Oh my goodness, Mommy, look!" It turned out okay. And the pudding was, oh my goodness, it was delicious. I should try to make, oops, I should try to make that again because that was a big hit. I put a half cup of, oh, I didn't even show you. I put a half cup of glutinous rice flour. It doesn't really have gluten, but it has something that makes it act like gluten. And it gets makes things sticky and hold together. And I got that from donuts.Then. Now I'm going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch. The other recipe that I used didn't even call for cornstarch, so I'm not really too particular about how much I put in because it turned out just fine without it. It's like a half teaspoon, and I'll put another half to make it a whole teaspoon. I don't remember whether it said a tablespoon or a teaspoon. So it's a teaspoon. This camera oops. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of sugar. The other recipe didn't have sugar in the actual mochi dough either, but this one calls for it, so we're going to put it in. Yeah. And mix that up. And a half cup of water. And I'm going to mix this up until it's well combined and there are no lumps. Now there's a traditional way that you make mochi donuts, and you have to form little balls, and then you stick the balls together in a circle, and it's really, really cute. But I'm not doing that today. We're gonna do things quick and easy. I don't know how to describe this consistency, but I'm gonna just get this little bit off the spoon. Make sure every little bit is in there, and there are no lumps. I don't know why I'm whispering. I definitely want people to try this because these donuts are so good. They get like a little crispy on the outside, and they're very soft on the inside. And the consistency is a little bit different than a regular donut, but it's good. It's still good. And I have grown to love them. There's a little shop in Chinatown in New York called Ali Mama. And I don't know if I told you, but I was supposed to do an Ali Mama review. And I was too tired to do it when I got home. So I figured I would do it the next morning. But then in the middle of the night, I woke up and I was like, oh, the donuts might go stale. And I didn't want that to happen. Yeah, I got up and I ate the donuts without doing the review. And I was so sad about this. Now, we're going to bake these donuts for like 10 or 15 minutes until, you know, the dough will dry out a little and it will be sticky. And then we're going to make our donut balls. I think I've gotten out all the lumps. Yeah. I'm going to take this to the kitchen, put it in the oven, and I'll be back. Okay, geez, so the mochi dough is done. I'll do this like I was supposed to. And spread the cornstarch around. Ooh. And scoop this dough out. Ooh. Still hot. Ah. I should have let it cool off, but you know me. I'm impatient, but it shouldn't mess up the donut. I'm just like a little kid. Yeah, I'm like a little kid. I get so impatient and excited. I've never made the donuts before, and I like them a lot. And the only reason why I'm doing them at night is because it's such a process, and I wanted to get this to you guys by tomorrow morning. So I'll sprinkle some of the cornstarch around. And we'll just make little balls like donut holes. It's going to be so much fun. Well, eating them. It's going to be so much fun. This part is kind of messy. Oh, I like that they're like warm and so they're flattening out. Next time I will have the parchment paper ready, because when you make the little holes, I mean the little balls, and then stick them together in a circle, you're supposed to put them in the pan and cook them on parchment paper. But I don't have any parchment paper, and so we're doing it like this, and hopefully that'll be okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can see these, but they look like little discs. Can you see them now? Okay, so we're going to go to the kitchen and cook these up. I think the oil is pretty hot. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of, a little bit of the cornstarch in there to check it, and it seems like it is. So we're going to, we're going to put our mochi in. There we go. And let that cook. I'm so excited. Oh, they're floating, so I guess it's time to turn them over. Ooh. Well, they're a little bit misshapen, but I think they're going to taste fine. Isn't this exciting? Oh, they're nice and crispy. This is great. As long as they're not sticky, I think these are done. So I'm going to take them out now. Turn the fire off. We're going to let those cool while I mix up the glaze to go on them. Okay, so we're back in the studio, and I'm going to put the glaze together. I think they're cool enough to glaze now, so let's get to it. I'm going to put a little cocoa in there. That's about a teaspoon. Cocoa in the face. Cocoa in the face. That could be a new song. And some confectioner's sugar. About a half cup. Getting a little messy. And we're going to mix that up. And we're going to make a thick paste to glaze these donuts. Gonna add a little water. You don't want to add too much. Need a little more. That should be enough. Like a little bit thicker than that. So I'm going to add some more sugar. And you know that I probably won't be patient enough to let these donuts dry before I taste one. I have a serious problem. I have to learn self-control. I really do. I have cocoa on my face. Yeah, this is a little thick. I think that'll be good. Throw a donut in. Cover it. Yeah. Cover it completely. And then let it drain. And we'll set it here. All covered. Look at that glaze dripping. Oh, I didn't put any cinnamon in here, but that's okay. I think these donuts can stand alone without the cinnamon. This really wasn't that difficult at all. You know, it's just that you have to make the dough, bake the dough, then fry the dough. So like maybe an extra step, but I think it's going to be worth it. I really do. Oops. The last little one. I'm definitely going to have to practice on these, I know, because the shape was not supposed to be like this. But I just have a feeling that they're going to taste wonderful. Oops. And there you guys get a good look at them. for the taste test. It's not dry. I'm not letting it get dry. It's a little bit dry on the top, but mmm. Mmm. These are good. And look at the inside there. Yeah. Look at that. My goodness, these are so good. Mmm. I don't know if I could stop at one. I don't care if the glaze is not dry. This is the best gluten-free donut ever. Now, I know that they have gluten-free cake donuts. And they have really good gluten-free cake donuts. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but I miss a fried donut. You know, like the glazed donuts. Especially, I don't know if you've ever been to California, but if you live in California, you know what I'm talking about. They make those homemade yeast donuts. They fry them, and then they put the glaze on them. And I tell you, they are better than any Krispy Kreme, any Dunkin' Donuts. They're better than all of that. They even rival. There used to be this donut shop named George's. I don't know if I ever told you about them. They were in Harlem on 125th Street. And one day I was in Harlem, and I had parked my car. I had to park my car a little bit closer to the east side because there was no parking on the west. And I was, so I was walking back. I'm walking down the street, and I see this really, really long line. And, I'm nosy. I'm by myself. I don't have my kids to tell me, stop talking to strangers. They always tell me that. So I asked somebody on the line, I'm like, are they giving something away? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, what's this line for? What is everybody waiting for? They said, George's. He's making donuts. And I'm like, George is making donuts. And I looked at the sign and said, George's Donuts. And I was like, oh, okay. And, oh, there's a fly in here. And, she said, you've never had a donut from George's Donuts before? And I'm like, no. She goes, get on the line. So Miss Lady, and then people start chiming in, yeah, if you've never had a donut from George's before, you're going to love it. Just stand on the line, lady, and, you won't be sorry. And the line was long. It was really long. But I stood on the line. Oh, my goodness. I got the donuts, and they were warm. He just made them. And I walk over to my car, get my car, start driving, and the donuts, they just smell so good. Kind of like these are smelling now. Except for George put plain glaze on them. I felt like doing chocolate. But I had to taste one. I bought a dozen. I didn't buy a half dozen. I bought a dozen. But by the time I got home, there was only a half dozen left because I ate them. They were the best donuts in the entire world. Now they don't measure up to George's, but these are pretty darn good. And that was before I knew I had celiac. So, when you get older and you have something like that going on and your body starts acting up, you kind of know. So, yeah, I miss George's Donuts. They shut down. And I couldn't eat them now, but I certainly would go by and smell them and try to talk them into making a gluten-free version. I haven't been able to make a successful yeast fried donut since I've been gluten-free, and I've tried. But these mochi donuts, I could do this. These are good. And you hear that crunch? And then it's chewy on the inside. I don't know, Alimama's good, but I might like these a little better. I just have to work out the science of the shape, how to get them to keep their shape. I'm going to try to just eat 3. I don't know how successful I'm going to be, but I'll make more. Taylor is going to be so excited when I tell her that I make mochi donuts. Yeah. You know, the extra step of the baking the mochi is really not that bad because you only bake it for like 15 minutes. I imagine if you have a bigger pan, you can make a bigger batch and maybe bake it for 20 minutes, you know. But try these. They're gluten-free, but they're delicious. It's like gluten-free food is, you know, it could be delicious. If you have a friend that's gluten-free, surprise them and make them some mochi donuts. They'd really appreciate it. They'd love you if you did that. Because most people don't even know that mochi donuts are a thing. So, make some mochi donuts. And you don't have to be gluten-free to eat these. Because a lot of the people that come into that bakery, they don't even know that the donuts are gluten-free. And they are expensive. One of their donuts is like $4. They put this fancy glaze on, and it has, some of it has sparkles. I mean, they're really pretty. They're beautiful. And I guess that's worth the $4. But if you just want the taste and the flavor and the slight little crunch and the chewiness of a mochi donut, make them yourself. That bag of glutinous glutinous rice flour, yeah. I think it was like $3. Do you know how many donuts I can make with a $3? You know, that was less expensive than one donut. The confectioner's sugar and the cocoa I already had in my cabinet. But you don't even have to use the cocoa. You could just make a glaze. I think to get the really sticky glaze that gets hard, you have to put a little milk in it. And I don't have milk, so that's that for that. But, you know, you could just put a thin glaze on it and let it dry out. And it'll be perfect. It's fine. Oh, I'm going to eat all these donuts. I know I am. But I'm not going to let you see me eat them because that would just be bad. So I'm going to leave you now and tell you, never forget to count your blessings. Because this, guys, this is a blessing to me and I am grateful for it. Go out and be a blessing to somebody else. And be kind to yourself. Make yourself some mochi donuts. Until next time.